Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This evening I'm going to be doing another movie review, so hopefully you find this one interesting. This movie is a horror film from the United States, English language, released in the year 2018, directed by Steven Susko, and this film is called Unfriended Dark Web. So Unfriended Dark Web is about a group of friends that are hanging out on a Skype conference, and one of these friends is telling them that he's bought a new computer on Craigslist that's very good. He can do things on it that he couldn't do in previous times, and now he's trying to connect with his deaf girlfriend in order to make things better because they've had a bit of a fight. So they're just hanging out, they're having a bit of fun, and this is where the friend on the computer actually tells them that there are some hidden files on it. Basically, the previous owner hasn't got rid of everything, and so he's doing a little bit of investigating, and it turns out that these files that are hidden on his computer are actually connected to the dark web. Now, this is a world that they shouldn't be a part of, and so this friend actually shows his other friends these files, and so there's some pretty horrible things that happen, and so they're a little bit freaked out. And this is where the revelation comes about, where this friend didn't actually buy it on Craigslist. He actually found it unattended at an internet cafe. So the friends are freaking out. They're saying you really shouldn't have taken it, but what's going to make them freak out the most was the fact that the previous owner wants his laptop back. Is that he knows they've seen stuff that they shouldn't have seen. Now he's saying that if he doesn't get that laptop back, he's going to kill everybody. And so this situation is going to go from bad to worse very quickly, and whether or not they live to tell the tale is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now, my thoughts on Unfriended Dark Web. This is not necessarily a franchise I was very interested in. Now, it's only 2 films so far in this series, but I'm pretty sure that it's going to be a few more films, because that's usually the way of the world as far as these types of horror movies are concerned. So this is kind of like a Skype social media horror movie. It's kind of like a spin-off found footage. So when I initially heard that Unfriended, the first Unfriended came out, I thought, how is this going to maintain my level of curiosity? How is this going to invest my interest? I thought the idea wasn't really capable of actually getting over the line as far as a feature film is concerned. So that was one skepticism I had of the first movie, but the biggest skepticism was that I thought it was just another paranormal entity movie, that these paranormal films will be done over and over. So you've seen one, you've seen them all, so that's the reason why I kind of dismissed the first film. But the reason why I wanted to see Unfriended Dark Web was that it's grounded in a lot more realism, and it depicts the world of the terrifying underbelly of the internet called the dark web. Now, I don't have any desire to go into the dark web. I really wouldn't know where to start, but you hear so many stories about there's some horrible things down there, and there's a lot of urban legends surrounding the dark web. And so this is the type of thing where you can tell your friends over a campfire, stories. Have you heard of this story about the dark web? And all these stories are being made that are actually very entertaining, and it gains that level of curiosity in something that is very foreign to me, especially. And so when a movie comes out that depicts dark web, I thought, all right, well, I'm going to give this a shot. I really don't have too much to lose. I wasn't expecting to like the film, but I was hoping that there was going to be enough interest to keep me from actually turning this off, basically in boredom. So at the end of the day, after watching Unfriended Dark Web, I will say that I was surprisingly entertained by this movie, and I liked it a lot more than I initially anticipated. And I think the biggest reason why I like this film is that it uses the material, that urban legend, very, very well. Is that this is a movie, as I said, you're at a campfire and you tell your friends, have you heard the story about the guy who took a laptop that didn't belong to him, and bad things happen as a result of that? And so that is just a very creepy idea in itself. What if you stumbled upon something that wasn't yours? It's kind of like a cautionary tale. Don't take something that doesn't belong to you, because it could backfire and come back to actually haunt you. And this is exactly what happens to this group of friends. They're all innocent enough, but they've stumbled upon something they shouldn't have seen, and now it's a train wreck of, basically a chain of errors, and these chain of errors lead them down a very dark sort of hole that gets increasingly more intense. And I thought the level of anticipation to this movie was by far the scariest thing to it. Is that was the level of scariness that I wasn't expecting, because I was expecting this movie to be very lazy, basically cheap jump scares, very shocking violence, but the movie doesn't really have any of that. The movie is about that sense of dread. It's that slowly engulfing bubble that's basically tightening around this group of friends, and they've really got nowhere else to go. They have no help is because they've entered a world that they're incapable of actually dealing with. And so when you actually see, or you hear, basically the person who used to own this laptop starts messaging them, saying that you've got property that belongs to me, give it to me or I'm going to kill you. And there are a few other elements to the movie that slowly creep in, and it escalates the issue. When it's escalating the issue, you become more and more creeped out. And so there was a level of psychology to this movie that was maintained, and attention to detail I thought was actually very competently done. And that's the reason why I enjoyed it as much as I did. It's a very sort of unique sort of approach in storytelling through social media. Now, social media is is very relevant in today's society. And it's, as I said, it's like a cautionary tale of using social media and the dangers that social media can bring. Now, we all like to think that we're safe online, basically in the confines of our own home, but when you actually challenge that idea of being safe in your own home, this is that creepiness, that this is the realism of the ugly world that's coming into you. And so I thought, all right, well, that's the reason why I enjoyed it, is that this is not a paranormal entity film. This is a movie that's depicting things that actually really happen. And the underbelly of the internet, basically the dark web, actually exists, and you know, very strange people are down there, and they're people that you don't want to associate with. But these your friends who are a part of the mainstream world are now actually associated with this, and it's basically going to destroy them all. But how is it going to destroy them all, and who's going to come out alive, is something that keeps the ball rolling. So I thought that was very good. So it's it is a spin-off found footage, which I actually think is a creative idea. Now, there are moments that I thought were a little bit far-fetched because of that. I thought to myself, why would you stay on the internet? Why would you keep, you know, talking on Skype? But you have to make allowances for that, because these types of movies, they're not trying to be totally serious. They're not trying to be totally realistic. You have to make allowances for the movie to progress forward. So if you can actually overlook some of the silly moments that happen in this movie, I definitely think it's the type of movie that you could use with a group of friends on a Friday night with some beer and popcorn, and I'm pretty sure that your friends won't belittle you for actually choosing to watch this movie, because it has enough entertainment purpose in the film to actually surprise a lot of people. So I expected to hate it. I'm pretty sure you guys expected me to hate a movie of this nature, but I actually come away from it liking it, because it was entertaining, and I just thought, all right, well, it's so much better than I thought it would be. So it's nothing brilliant, but it's certainly a movie that you could do a lot worse with. So overall, for Unfriended Dark Web, going to give this one 3 stars. I thought it was actually quite effective in its level of creepiness. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.